Well, let me tell you a story about a pair of brothers, Andy and Dustin. They're like no others. They hit the road, traveling land, testing out food. Ain't that grand? From fast food joints to local dives, they're on a mission, taking crazy drives. They'll sample it all, junk food galore. But the question remains, what's worth fighting for? Southern Dn'A, showing down Southern Dn'A, exploring every town. They're on the hunt, searching far and wide for the flavors that'll make you satisfied. Let me tell you a story about a pair of brothers, Andy and Dustin. They're like no others. They hit the road, traveling land, testing out food. Ain't that grand? From fast food joints to local dives, they're on a mission, taking crazy drives. They'll sample it all, junk food galore. But the question remains, what's worth fighting for? Southern Dn'A, showing down Southern Dn'A, exploring every town. They're on the hunt, searching far and wide for the flavors that'll make you satisfied. Southern Dn'A, showing down Southern Dn'A, exploring every town. They're on the hunt, searching far and wide for the flavors that'll make you satisfied. Southern Dn'A, showing down Southern Dn'A, exploring every town. They're on the hunt, searching far and wide for the flavors that'll make you satisfied. For the flavors that'll make you satisfied. Southern Dn'A, showing down Southern Dn'A, exploring every town. They're on the hunt, searching far and wide for the flavors that'll make you satisfied.
Welcome. How's it going, everybody out there in YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook land? I am joining you again for another Friday live stream here at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going to be hanging out with you for a little bit. Hopefully, y'all are doing good wherever y'all are at. Let me turn my volume down a little bit on my feedback here. All right, so so I'm gonna be hanging out with you a little bit today, discussing a few different things. If there's anything that y'all would like to talk about in general, please let me know. We'll talk about it. I'm here always to answer any questions you may have about the channel or any of the foods that we've tried out in the past, if I can remember the foods, if I've tasted the foods. See, me and Andy do different taste tests sometimes. Sometimes he'll do his some stuff that he tries out, and sometimes I do stuff that I try out, and then we come together every last Saturday of the month and do a live taste test here in the Southern Dn'A studio. Still working on it. Still working on the studio. It's a work in progress, but it's coming along. We're getting there. It's slowly but surely we're getting there. As you know, like I've added the outside look, which today is looking a little bit gloomier than the past few Fridays we've had. But here lately, we've been getting some bad storms in the evenings. So they've been coming through. I want to say 2 nights ago, it was so bad that, it was the loudest thunder I'd ever heard, I think, in my whole entire life. It knocked the power out. It was so loud, I guess. It was crazy. So A little gloomy today. It looks like it possibly could rain at some point, which doesn't surprise me. It's rained the past 3 days. So it has been a very rainy summer this year, which is, I guess, I don't know, better than what we've had in the past few years where it's been pretty dry. So for you people that like to swim in the area that I'm living at, it's probably not the best year for you, but we've been needing some rain for a while now, and we got it, and now it's not wanting to stop. So it has been a rainy summer, and I'm I like watching the rain. So I wish I had a porch I can sit on and or just to sit and listen to the rain, because I used to like doing that when I was a kid. It's not something I get to do anymore. So it is what it is. Before I jump in, if you watch me before, I only do this once and one time only, but it's a way if you want to support this or you want to support me as a content creator, the best way to do it is just to head over to the description of this video and check out Blackout Coffee Company. It is the very best coffee that you're going to find out there today. It is not a drop ship coffee. This is roasted and packed down in Florida, and it's sent straight to you. This coffee has no sugar, no calories. It's just coffee and flavoring, and it's the best flavoring you're going to get. My favorite is the Jamaican Me Crazy. That's what I'm drinking right now. My second is probably Blueberry Crumble. That's my second go-to. It's got a very nice blueberry hint to it. So if you're a black coffee drinker like I am, then you're going to want something that has just a little bit of flavor, but you don't want to put the creams, you don't want to put the sugars in it. You just want a good flavor and a strong coffee. This is the one to go to. So it's got some really good flavors out there. Oh, we got a new one coming out here. Caramel Rum Crunch. That's a new one I did not see. Was not on here last Friday. So they just added this one in. Caramel Rum Crunch looks interesting. Might have to try that one out. But they've got all kinds of different flavors. And guess what? This company right here supports the troops. So they will send every order. They I guess send a bag or something like that. I think it is. They'll support what is it? Maybe like 2 cups of every coffee to, we send 2 cups of coffee to active military for every bag you buy. So every bag you buy, they'll send 2 cups of coffee to an active military. So, but they also do where if you have someone that serves and you want to send them a bag, that you can actually do that through them also. You can actually send it to a random unit or to somebody that that's deployed somewhere. So you're able to do that. All you have to do is know where they're located at, and they'll send it right out to them. So that's how, if you want to support me, the affiliate link's in the description. Now, if you want to support the channel as a whole, we got merch. I've been talking about this for a while now. Why don't you go buy a shirt? They're not super expensive. These are on par with all the prices that you're going to get from any other content creator. And there's some funny saying ones. I've got this shirt right here. I choose the cheesy life with our logo on the back. I've got this one. You've seen it probably on the channel. We've also, I've got the hat. I wear it like constantly. I don't have it on today because I usually wear this hat when I'm live streaming. But there's all kinds of stuff on our shop, and there's 4 pages of stuff. There's anything from shirts, hats, shorts, drinkware. We got it all. So if you want to support the channel, me and Andy together, that's the best way to do it. Links in the description. And don't forget, we do have a Discord. Why don't you go be a part of our family? It's free to join. You don't have to pay anything to be over there. And you get to come and hang out with us. It's a good place. It's a family over there. And we can come together and be a community over on the Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, it's an app that you can get on your phone or your computer. And you can be a part of the community. You can contact me anytime, day or night. I'm always on Discord. You can contact me there. If you have questions about video content or you have an idea for us to do, we love to hear your voices and see what y'all want us to see us to do. So let us know over on the Discord. I don't know if it'll show it. No, it won't show it on the screen. Okay. But yeah, we have a Discord. You can come hang out with us over there. The link is in the description for that also. All right, back to the video. Oh, we got Dixie joining in the back, as everybody loves Dixie. She's the mascot, I guess, of the channel, and and she joins in on my Friday live streams to say hi to everybody. Right, Dixie? Yeah, she's saying hi right now. She got to come in here and let everybody know she is alive and well. Apparently, she's gonna come in here and what are you doing? You're underneath my leg. She's she's asleep. She was asleep, literally 7 minutes ago, asleep, dead to the world, laying in the floor. When I get to live stream and she wakes up and she's ready to go, she wants to play. Where's your dragon at? Go get your dragon. Oh, it's right here. There you go. Get your dragon. Good girl. All right. So I've talked about this a few times. Man, my beard is like all over the place today. I got people messaging me all the time. I've talked about this a few times. Some people know, some people don't. I was a pro wrestler for 7 years in NWA, All Stars, and other promotions throughout the time I wrestled. It wasn't just NWA All Stars, but that was the biggest promotion I wrestled for. NWA, our part of NWA was NWA All Stars, and but I've wrestled in many promotions. Got to meet a whole lot of people throughout the years, and I got to thinking, wrestlers, man, it feels like yesterday watching some of these guys that I grew up watching, like, your Stings and your Hogans and Kevin Nash's, Scott Hall's, all these guys that I watched as a kid. Man, all of them are like I've gotten old, and like in my mind, I feel like they're still, young, but I mean, they've gotten up there. And one of the persons that I wanted to mention today on this video was Buff Bagwell. I got to meet Buff. Oh man, when was it? 2006, 2007, somewhere around there, in Boone, North Carolina. I was working security at the time, and they had a show down there. I was a wrestler, but I wasn't working that show, and I knew he was going to be there. So I remember watching Buff all the time, Marcus Bagwell on WCW back in the day. So I was like, I'm gonna go down to the thing and see who's running it, and if they'll let me in, at least meet Buff and talk to the promoter. And the promoter was what was his name? He was big in the 80s, and I cannot remember his name now for the life of me. I'd only met him once also through this show, and my dog is now freaking out on the floor playing with her dragon, if y'all hear a noise in the background. But yes, you're cute. Yes, you're cute. Yeah, you're cute. You're rotten. I wonder if I can get a view of this. Let's see. Let me see if I can show y'all what she does, because some of y'all wouldn't know what I'm even talking about. She may not do it now that I'm going to try to get a camera on her. Let's see. Oh, nah, she's just going to lay there now. Of course she is. I can't get a good view. Yeah, now she's just laying there. Look at this. She was just making a bunch of noises. Now she's just going to lay there quietly. Look at you. Look at yourself. Get your dragon. Get it. Get your dragon. She's like, she knows the camera's on her, I guess. She's going to play coy. Anyways, okay. Back to what I was saying. We'll keep that camera focused right there just in case she decides to do it again. So I met Marcus, back in 2006, 2007. And at that point in his life, he was living pretty rough. Marcus has went through a lot of different kind of scandals throughout the years. I think he's been in and out of jail a couple times, and he actually was a male gigolo at one point too. Crazy to think, but I mean, he had some issues, throughout his life, and her's tired. She's acting tired, but she was just sitting there playing. She was just sitting there playing, acting goofy, and now she's going to play coy like she wasn't just doing that. She's fine. She's crazy. Anyways, so yeah, I got to meet Marcus, back then, and he was a great guy, very nice to me. Took a picture with him. and very, very great, very a good guy to me. I met a lot of wrestlers back in the day, and they were just not a that were good person. Like they say, never meet your idols, kind of thing. And I don't call any of these people idols by no means, but or meet your heroes, I guess, is another a phrase to say it. But I got to meet Marcus. Marcus was a good guy. I met like Flair, and I met Cena, and I met all those guys. But Marcus was a good guy, and he'd been through a lot. But I met him. I was bigger. I was actually bigger than I am now when I met him, because my weight has fluctuated throughout the years. This was me starting out my wrestling career, and I was a bigger guy at that point, and I slimmed down once I started wrestling. But I got to meet him. I wish I still had that picture. I don't know what picture happened to I had with him, and anyways, found out Friday, he's come a long way. I will say he's come a long way from his past, and Friday I found out July 10th he had a amputation above his knee, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that this gives him a new start in life, because he's had pain addiction pill. He's been addicted to pain pills and stuff, if I'm not mistaken, throughout his life. A lot of wrestlers end up getting addicted to pain medication, just to kind of cut the edge off of all the work that they've done, or just because they get injured and they go on medication and then they get addicted to it and they keep it, and it ends up messing their life up. Problem with Buff was that, or Marcus, his came from, he was in a car accident. He took a couple pills, got behind the car, and drove the car. He, I guess, went through a house or a building, and it crushed his leg. His kneecap exploded, and he was bad off. Like, ever since then, his leg was not healthy. It was very much bad off. I think I want to say I seen him on Dallas's, or if for people that don't know, I'm talking about Diamond Dallas Page's Dally. His one of his videos that he was actually working with him also at one point, I think, to try to get him back in the right mindset, because he was still dealing with a lot of things with drinking and with medication and stuff that he was taking. So and I think Dally was pretty much just said, hey, he's got to get this to himself. But Maven posted the video on or today. I found out today. I guess I'm saying Friday, but today is Friday. My days are all like, I think it feels like it's Saturday for some reason. Although the wife's not home, I don't know why I think that, but it feels like a Saturday. But I see he posted today that he had on the 10th had to have the surgery done where they amputated it, and it blows my mind thinking about all these guys I watched throughout the years. I mean, Sting, one of my all-time, probably my favorite wrestler of all time. I can't think of anybody that I like more than Sting. If you want a good like turnabout story, Sting is somebody that went from just not a good person, to a God-fearing man. He turned his life around, and for someone to go through what he did and turn his life around, that's speaks volumes. But Sting, he's on his last year that he's going to be in face paint. That blows my mind. A lot of these guys that I've got pictures of up on the walls, they're old men now. Like, I got an autograph of Sting, and Arn Anderson is over there. Boogie, my trainer, I've got pictures of him up there. I think there's one. There's another one around here somewhere I've got of him. I can't remember. Let's see, where's it at? Oh, I know I've got another one of them, I think, somewhere. But these are, I mean, Lex, that's back there. I mean, he just had his Hall of Fame induction this past year, and he's been in a wheelchair for a long time. Dally's been working with him to try to get him in to be able to, be in decent shape. He had a stroke, it affected him big time, and so I mean these guys are just. I mean, all these guys that I watched as a kid, they're all old now, and it makes me feel even older today to see these guys as old as they are. Just it blows my mind. But yeah, I was watching that video today, and I couldn't stop. Almost did not make it back to upstairs to the live stream because of watching that video Maven put out. It just so happened to pop up on my feed right like at 12:25, and just I think it was like 12:20, 12:15, somewhere around when I put it on. I was like, I gotta watch this. He didn't say what the video was about when he was talking about it a few days ago. He just said something big, and like I said, I met Buff back in the day, or Marcus, and I'm hoping that this gives him a better look on life. He in the video he looked very optimistic, even at missing a part of his leg. So that's good. He's optimistic about it. I couldn't imagine going through what he's going through, having to remove a leg, and but he said that maybe this is something that he was supposed to go through. This was something that he was destined to go through, that God put him there for that reason. It wasn't for him to be Marcus Bagwell or Buff the Stuff Bagwell. It's for him to be Marcus Bagwell, the guy that had to take a leg off and live a good life afterwards. And that I think is commendable. I think that's a good look on it. A lot of us, and this is the pastor coming out of me. Okay. This is the preacher man coming out of me. But a lot of us, when something bad happens to us, we automatically assume that it is the worst thing, that the world's out to get them, or God's punishing us, if something to that effect. And it's not always the case. We go through trials, and those are trials that we can use for the better, and we can get through them to the other side, and use those trials to help someone else out. A lot of the things people don't realize when they're going through these things is if you could take a step back in that moment and say, who could this help down the road, and it would probably I think that would help out a whole lot of people if they were able to do that. Now, it's not something that I'm saying it's easy to do, because I mean, I've been there, Look, for those that don't know my story, I grew up always, Dad always told me to be like a jack of all trades. The old I guess it's kind of been perverted through the years, but it was jack of all trades, master of none is what a lot of people say, but that's not the quote. It's jack of all trades, master of one. And I've always tried to be a jack of all trades, and I've done everything that, I've tried to do. I've always tried to go at everything as much as I can. So, growing up, when I got into the workforce and stuff, I've been a subcontractor. I've worked on houses. I've did, worked with like fire and water and mildew repairs, and worked as in restaurants. I've tried everything. I've tried a little bit of everything, dabbled with everything. I started pro wrestling for a love of watching it as a kid. And so I was a pro wrestler. I reached out to Boogie, Jimmy Valiant, and Hall of Famer Jimmy Valiant, and asked him what it would take for me to get into the ring. So I went to train, become a pro wrestler under Boogie, and took me a year to graduate. You go through a whole year of training to then graduate, and then it took 2-3 years before I felt like I was comfortable in the ring fully. Wrestled in a lot of small promotions to end up wrestling in front of thousands of people, and and I even went into the Navy. I joined the Navy because a lot of people say, well, it's a duty to your country, kind of, but it was more just to wanted to go explore. I wanted to travel, and I was a pro wrestler. I figured this would help me get out of the area and travel to different locations that had promotions on not my dime, on the military's dime. And I was getting to serve my country, and I also got to work on things that I also enjoyed. Aircraft. I love aircraft. I love to fly. I love to be in the air, and it was an opportunity to work on F-18s, which excuse me, was a great opportunity. So I couldn't pass it up. Although Dad was pretty against me joining, well, more than anything, the Army, but military in general. Not that he served in the Army, and he just, I guess, saw what it was becoming. And I saw it even worse when I went, while I was there, how bad it was getting. And that's for a different day. Not that I mean, I enjoyed looking back at it. I would join again. But even knowing what I had to go through and end up going through at the end, but I did everything. I did everything that I set myself out to do, and up until I end up falling off the F-18, a F-18. I can't remember if it was like 202 or 212. The tail number was one of those two. And I was up on the F-18. We were washing it, and one of the girls who did not want to, she just made rank, and she got that in her head that she didn't have to do anything anymore because she made rank. So she made up an excuse that she was afraid of heights, although she had been on top of the F-18 a billion times. So she didn't want to climb up on the F-18 to wash it from the top. So I was like, whatever. I'd rather be on top of washing the aircraft. I don't want to be underneath of it, washing the aircraft. And so, because you get up in the wheel wells, it's very tedious work. It's horrible, but I enjoyed being on top of the aircraft anyway. So I went up on top of the aircraft, was washing it. She decided while we were doing that, was going to go around and scrub the sides of the aircraft, and did not let us know that she had scrubbed the horizontal stabs, which are the stabs that if you're looking at the back of the airplane, they're kind of on the outside, and they do this right here, and they make the plane kind of roll, or turn. And well, I did not know she had put this substance called Turco, which is like a super slick, super absorbent, soap down on the aircraft. Well, I went to go step down on the horizontal stab so I can get the outside of the vertical stab. And when I did that, I slipped. I hit I hit the horizontal stab. I rolled and then hit the deck afterwards. Made a huge display, I guess, because two aircraft that were about to take off stopped and turned their jets to see what was going on. They said that Chief had came out from one of the closest hangars to check on me to see if I was okay. I don't remember that at all. Luckily enough, I landed on my back and not my head. I was wearing a cranial at the time, almost like a hard hat, but it's got these, ear muffs basically, or ear hearing protection, so we use on the flight line. If you ever watch Top Gun or stuff, the things that they wear on their head that looks like a turtle shell, that's a cranial. And luckily I had that on my head, because you're supposed to have it when you're on top of the aircraft. But I landed on my back. I knew how to fall at least, but when I did that, I herniated my back, dislocated or herniated the L4, L5, I guess is what it is, and messed up my ankle. And they end up taking me to the emergency room. The lovely medical of the Navy was like, we're only going to look at one thing, what hurts worse. And I'm like, right now my ankle's killing me. So they end up checking my ankle out and not my back. Well, my back did not get any better, so I went back to the medical over it. They found out I did herniate my back, L4, L5, and went through physical therapy, aquatic therapy, steroid injections. You name it, I did it. To try to get the relief with my back. None of it helped. So I ended up having to have surgery while I was in, and surgery was supposed to take 2 hours. It was called a microdiscectomy. They was going to put 2 little holes in my back, go in there, cut the disc, I guess, and patch me back up, and I was going to be good to go in 2 weeks. 2 hours for 2 weeks, right? Sounds like a pretty good deal. Well, it took 4 hours, and I wasn't walking for a month. They had to end up cutting my back open. I guess I had tendons wrapped around my spine or something. They had to go back in and kind of readjust my tendons in my back, and it was a mess. So it was a nightmare not being able to walk and basically get around for a whole month. And I went back to the VA, or not VA, but the medical, and they because I was still in pain afterwards. I was still badly off when I finally got back on my feet after those 30 days, and they done another MRI of my back, and they're like, "Well, your back's still herniated." And I'm like, "Well, how's that possible? I've not moved for a month." And they're like, "Well, I don't know how your back." I'm like, "Well, did they even fix my back, or did they just fix the tendons in my back?" That's my questioning. They never did answer that portion, but I got the scar to prove that I got surgery. That's about all I got out of it, and my back being worse off now than it was beforehand. So, needless to say, moving forward, I went through more physical therapy, more aquatic therapy, stretching, yoga, all this fun stuff, that the military wants you to do to try to get you back on your feet, and none of it made any better. It was, if not making it worse. Plus, they was injecting me with steroids for my epidural steroid injections in my back. I was gaining weight because I couldn't work out. So I wish I was able to work out, because I would have been buff. With all them steroids being injected into me. But I was just gaining weight and couldn't do anything. So I ended up getting medically retired from the Navy, and I came out, and like I said, I wish for all of us, if we could just, in the moment when things look the darkest, just be able to just take a step back and say, how can I use this to better someone else? But no, same with me. I went through the same thing in the moment. I was like, okay, I just lost my Navy career, and now I've lost my wrestling career also, because I'm not going to be able to ever wrestle with my back the way it is. I don't know if that's ever going to be a possibility, because everything's gone. So I was doom and gloom about it for a long time, and it took me a long time. It took me years to really get my head wrapped back around that my story hopefully maybe can help someone else out. And that's just, like I said, if we could just take a step back in that moment where we're having those hardest times, those darkest days, and to say, how can this benefit someone else? I think that would actually benefit us a whole lot too. And that's what, when, as a Christian, as someone that follows Christ, or tries to, the best of my ability, I fall short every day. But, if we realize that's what God is probably putting us through those journeys for, is not just to better ourselves, but to help someone else out too, then we'll probably have a broader look on the situations that we're going through. And it'll help us out in the long run, because looking back at it, yeah, it was rough. It was hard going through those things. It was hard to deal with them in those moments. And trying to come out of it was not easy, But if I could have, and I'm telling you this now, because if you're going through something in your situation right now, to kind of maybe take a break and take a step back and say, okay, how can I use this to help someone else out in the future? Maybe that will help you out, and your pain with what you're going through now will hopefully be lessened a little bit. Because I know if I could have put myself in that situation then, it would have helped me. Because I was very woe is me in that moment, depressed with the situation at hand, that I'd lost everything that I had wanted to do in my life. All of the fun things that I was doing and all the fun things that I enjoyed, working on aircraft. I actually got to fly an aircraft, pilot a little bit while I was do a bunch of fun tricks and stunts and stuff. And all that stuff, was out the door. I wasn't able to even go on roller coasters anymore. Had gained all this weight, and I was very woe is me. This is all, why am I being tormented? Why is he picking on me, kind of thing. And if I would have just took a step back and said, well, how can I use this to better someone else? I would probably been able to come through it a lot faster on the other side of it. Now, many years down the road, I can say that now and say that that would have helped me. And looking back at it, it was not as big of a deal as I thought it was. Yeah, it did. It was not fun. It was rough. It was rough going through those things. But I have a good life. I have a good life. Could it be better? Sure. It sure could be better. Everybody's life could be better some way or another. Do I have millions of dollars in my bank? No, but it could have been worse. It could have been, it always can be worse. It always can be worse. And what I went through is not as hard as what other people go through. But you gotta sometimes, just if you can, take a step back in that moment and just say, how can I use this to help someone else out in whatever I'm going through? It may get you through it a lot faster. Will your situation improve? I don't know, but your mindset will. And I feel like if you can bring it into a more of a positive outlook, Christians will like myself, will just turn it to God, let him deal with it, then, and let me be used in a betterment for someone else and for him and his glory. That's what I should have done. And that would have helped me out quite a bit moving forward. But I didn't do that originally. I was very hard on myself. I was very depressed. I was, and I made poor decisions. I made poor decisions in those moments because I did not, look at it that way. And when I watched that story about Marcus, Bagwell, he's looking at it in that outlook right now. He's looking at it that although they're cutting his leg off, they cut it off. From his knee down is gone, and like I said, I met him. He was a really good guy. But with his leg gone, he said, maybe I'm supposed to be here, and maybe this can be used to help someone else out along the way. And I feel like if we could be like that, then no matter what comes our way, we'll be able to get through it a lot easier. And that's really what it boils down to is, kind of surprised me, because I feel like the Marcus that I knew or I got to meet was in a rough place. It was in a very rough place when I met him. And I've watched his story throughout the years, and he's been in the Marcus that when I met him, if it was the same one, he would have been in the same situation I was when I went through my surgery and my back issue. Woe is me. Why has this happened to me? But that Marcus that I watched today is a different Marcus. and I'm glad. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's getting some peace with it, because his leg's been messed up for quite some time, and I was hoping, Dally would be able to help him out some way, DDP would help him out and get his legs situated. But I mean, DDP's not a doctor, but his yoga can help get some relief off of the pain and stuff. But um, hopefully this will get him in a better situation where he's not hooked on the medication. He's not hooked on alcohol just to get through the pain that he's dealing with, and he can live a better life. So, um, yeah, that's kind of what I want to talk about. I was watching that today, and it just blew my mind that that I didn't know. I had been loosely following him for a long time, hoping that things would get better with him. And when Maven posted that today, I was like, dang. And he's changed. I mean, from when I met him many years ago, he's changed quite a bit. He was a lot smaller. I mean, his waist. I mean, it was small guy. He's gained some weight. Of course, he can't move around as well as he used to. He's a lot older than he used to be too. But honestly, though, he looked healthier. He looked healthier in that video than he did when I met him. So I'm happy for him. I'm hoping that this will change his life for the better, and he can continue that positivity, that mindset, that whatever that this will be a betterment for someone else's story. And I feel like if we can use that same mindset with whatever we're dealing with going forward, it'll make a world of difference. So, what are you doing there, Squirtle? Go get your dragon. Go get your dragon. She's over there. Let's see if I can. She's pick it up. Oh, she's gonna bring it. Nope. You don't want to show nobody, do you? Yeah, you don't want to show nobody. I was going to switch the camera over to show you, but she don't. She's like, I'm not going to do it. I thought she was going to roll around on the floor again. She was doing that. She'll make that noise. She does it to get attention, I swear. Oh, look at it. Oh gosh, what are you doing? Just fucking. Can't get a good angle on her. What? Can't get a good angle on her. I'm trying to, but good catch. But yeah, just seeing these guys, that I watched growing up get old. It's kind of sad, Sting's last year in face paint. That is crazy to think that he's as old as he is. He's white-headed now. White-headed. Of course, I'm on that way too. Look at this beard. It's getting there. I'm old too. The age is creeping up on me. I'm starting to look more and more like that dude's on Dad Bod Veterans. Is that his name? That's on Facebook. Always has that weird accent voice that he does. It's not his real voice, but he does that accent voice like he's some old timer or something, or some like mythical old timer or something. Yeah, I'm starting to look like that. His beard's pretty gray too. I need to fix this little thing that's going on over here. It's like bugging me. But yeah, I'm an old man also, so I guess I got to look in the mirror when I'm thinking, how man, these guys are getting old. Well, I am too. I'm as old as dirt now. I'm an old man. I'm an old man, growing older. Every time I look in the mirror, this beard's getting wider. Won't be long, and this whole beard will be white. I'm gonna be an old white bearded, man doing YouTube. Like, let me put my teeth in so I can taste this food for you guys. What's gonna happen? I'm like, well, it was good, but I have to put my teeth in so I can chew it. The banana pudding and the jello was delicious. That's the only thing I could eat. That's what's going to happen when an old man still doing YouTube, numbing on food. Would that be something that y'all would want to watch? Just me, gumming food. Oh, been been a day. It's been a day. This week's been it's flown by. This week's flown by. I feel like I said, I feel like it's Saturday. I know it's not Saturday. I feel like it's Saturday, and but if again, though, although it feels like it was just Monday. I feel like it was just Monday not too long ago, and it's just flying by. It is flying by completely. Um, huh. I mean, I don't know this weekend's. I wonder how this weekend's going to be because it's looking a little. Today, at least, is looking a little gloomy out there, out in the Bristol area. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, the sun's peeking through. Sun's peeking through a little bit. It's been kind of gloomy today. Just it's whatever. I've got 15 people messaging me on Facebook right now because they're all wanting to play video games this evening, and they're trying to make me download a game. So I've been bugging them. They're trying to con one of the other friends into to downloading one of the games. I told them that if I did this, they would have to download a couple of games, and oh, they wouldn't tell him what games it was. So he's like, "What deal? Okay." And the other one's like, "See, they'll download it, but you didn't tell them what games, so they don't know what games that he's going to download or have to download." So we'll see. We'll see. What was that? That was weird. Something like popped up. I'm not sure what it was. Uh oh, look, new Big Bang Theory spinoff is in the works. That's interesting. It says the new Big Bang Theory spinoff series just got greenlit by HBO Max. Title Stewart fails to save the universe. Oh, geez, they're making a Stewart spinoff. The show will bring back characters from the original series. This is the third official spinoff to join the Big Bang Theory universe. The time is here, Big Bang Theory fans. A new spinoff is officially in the works, and it looks like people have a lot to say about it. Interesting. Stewart, probably my least favorite character on that show, but if they're gonna bring back some of the other characters, that's totally fine. Um, that's totally okay, I guess. I watched Young Sheldon. I've watched Big Bang Theory, both of them. Young Sheldon wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. Definitely wasn't Big Bang Theory by no means. But why does that keep on doing that? Something keeps on popping up on the top of the screen, catching me off guard. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to find something. Looks like Stephen Colbert is losing his job. He's out from his show at the Late Show. That's another big story that just happened last night. I think the quartering dropped that in the in a video. Trying to see if there's any other big Shark Tank Food Company owners file Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Ooh. Looks like there's a. Who is it? Often true, sometimes sharp in a lot of cases. Okay. It showed Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary as the pitcher, but is it him? It could be clickbait. Um, Joy Bell's got a lot of Shark Tank love. Joy Bell's founder, Joy B. Moore, made a big impression on the Sharks and had a big entrance. I don't remember this one. She was seeking $600,000 for 10% equity and premium refrigerated pie business. Has anybody ever heard of Joy Bells? So O'Leary said he turned the conversation to evaluate question why the company was worth $6 million. In response, Joy revealed that she had $16.1 million in lifetime sales. Okay. In 2023, she made $7.7 million in revenue. Wow. Okay. I've never heard of this Joy Bells, but it looks like they're not doing so hot now because the owner has filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy protection in advance of their company in filing Chapter 11. Wow. Okay. Um, After being sued by its bank, over an unpaid 350,000 loan made. There you go. Tisk tisk tisk. You gotta pay those loans. You gotta pay those loans. I never heard of them. I don't know who that is. Never heard of Joy Bells. I've watched a lot of Shark Tank, but I premium pie. Let's look them up. Joy Bells. Pre-order have sold out for Joy Bells gourmet pies. Well, they're filing for Chapter 11, and the owners are filing for Chapter 7. So I don't know how this is gonna work. They got potato pies, peach pies, pumpkin. Well, I'll just let me bring it up on the screen here. Joy Bells. Like they got some. I mean, at $20 for a pumpkin pie. That seems high to me. Does that not seem high to y'all? $20? I mean, I love pumpkin pie, but $20? That not high? That seems. I mean, how much better can you make a pumpkin pie that's worth? That's the only products that they got, and they're all sold out. So it's supposed to be because well, they're filing for chapter. I guess it says coming soon to Kroger's, but I guess not if they're filing for chapter 11 bankruptcy. Of course, they were on QVC. That's where a lot of them end up when they're on Shark Tank, is on QVC. I've never heard about this one, but I don't imagine that if this is their lineup, how could you? I mean, I guess you'd be making millions by selling them at 19. That seems expensive to me. Does that not seem expensive to y'all? $19 for a pie? For a pumpkin pie? I mean, I feel like that's maybe double the price of what a pumpkin pie would be. Maybe even more than that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. $20. I'm gonna look and see if I can look up a price at Walmart. See what it would be for a pumpkin pie at Walmart. Or their pumpkin pie. Well, you gotta hate Walmart's way they do things now. Yeah, okay, here, pumpkin pie. 587. Yeah, $5.87 for a pumpkin pie at Walmart. Or an 8 inch. Now that was a 9 inch, mind you, but an 8 inch, 1 inch difference. And they're charging $20 for a pumpkin pie. This Walmart pumpkin pie is $5.87. I thought that was outrageous for that. That is ridiculous. Who's spending $20 on a pumpkin pie? Who? No wonder you couldn't pay your loan. You're charging way too much money for a pumpkin pie. Ooh, Wendy's menu goods cheap and fresh to win McDonald's customers. What are they bringing to the table? All right, Wendy's has been slowly growing. Its breakfast business slowly gained traction after a challenging start. The problem is that while it was well and good to say you're using better ingredients, and arguably they are, it's something else entirely to prove it to people. That makes sense. Uh, In addition to making menu changes, it's essentially giving away some of its most popular breakfast sandwiches for $1 each. Can you say giving away? And then you can. I don't think you're giving away if you're charging $1. You can say selling for $1 each, but not giving away. The breakfast biscuits available are part of the deal. Are Honey Buddy chicken biscuit, Honey Buddy, sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, and the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. I guess will all be $1 sandwiches at Wendy's. Okay, if they can beat the sausage McGriddle, we'll have a talk. But until then, I don't think I'll go with them. Because tomorrow morning, everybody knows I get up, I go get my cheddar rounds. That's a must. Dixie's got to go with me to get cheddar. That's her cheddar round day. She knows, and she's listening to me right now. And we go get that. We also have a couple sausage McGriddles to go with that. Mind you, that's what we always get. I don't want just a regular biscuit because usually you can have good ingredients in your meat products, but if biscuits aren't that good, I'm not going to enjoy it. So, and I like the sausage McGriddle. It's got you're getting both the best of both worlds. You got the pancakes and sausage kind of thing going on. So um, why is this doing this? I don't want to. All right, let's see. There's any other big news stories in food. That's what I'm looking at here. Taco Bell announces latest menu additions, all priced at $3 or less. Still feel like that's overpriced at $3. Taco Bell shouldn't be anything more than $1 to me. Sorry, it shouldn't be. All right, what we got? New additions. What's the new? This is a Lux Value menu, is what they're calling it. It's tested only at select locations across Indianapolis, Indiana, starting Thursday while supplies last. Future plans for the menu have not yet been announced. There's 5 items that they're doing. Is a mini taco salad, which is seasoned with beef, chipotle sauce, cheddar cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and refried beans in a crispy golden tortilla bowl. I feel like they had a tortilla salad bowl thing at one point. Second item is a chipotle ranch chicken stacker. It has grilled all white meat chicken. So we had stackers at KFC at one time. Third item on the menu is a beefy potato loaded griller. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Rolled up tortilla filled with beef, crispy potato bites, nacho cheese sauce, chipotle sauce, and sour cream. The fourth is chips and nacho supreme dip. So it's basically like a loaded nachos, what it's looking like on here. And the final item is a sweet treat, salted caramel churros. Inside of the churros is a creamy, while the outside is covered in salted caramel sugar. These are the Lux Deals and the Lux Craving box. This includes a $5 classic box, which has the 5-layer beef burrito, crunchy taco, cinnamon twist, and a medium drink. But these are being tested out, so we don't know if they're coming across all the country yet or not. So see if there's anything else. Any other food announcements? A lot of these are just recipes and stuff, so it's not really. Okay, here we go. Oh, these are 2 weeks ago. I don't know how relevant it is now, but McDonald's rolls out 15 exciting new menu items. Can you be excited over menu items? I know they brought back the wrap. They got chicken tenders. Yeah, I think all these stuffs are already been out. It's not really new. Not seeing anything else new. Oh, here we go. Oh, God. Okay, they're doing a major. Looks like they're. Ooh, okay, interesting. McDonald's is doing a major menu shakeup. Okay, they're bringing a spicy McMuffin launch. Who can agree with me that McDonald's needs to bring back all day breakfast? I think that is what they need to do. They brought back those snack wraps. The McPlant. What? Oh, they're discontinuation of the McPlant. I didn't even know that was a thing. Strategic shift in menu philosophy. How about you just go back to a dollar menu? That would be. Just, I know they have the $1, the $2, the $3 menu, but everything's more than $1. Looks like they're heavily focusing on ordering yourself instead of having a cashier. So using the app, using the kiosk when you go in is what they're focusing on, which I don't. That's just another way to cut costs. That's all what they're doing. And I think at that point, then you need to lower your money. You need or lower your prices. If you're making me have to do the ordering like Walmart, I hate Walmart for the same reason. If I have to ring my own groceries up when I go through Walmart, where's my discount as being an employee at Walmart? I'm doing the job of what you're supposed to be doing. And then they, have the gall to question me when I'm going out. Do you have a receipt? You watched me pay for all this stuff, watched me scan everything, and now you're going to make me show you the receipt? I already did your job. Why I'm sounding like an old man. Sound like an old man now. Kids, get off my lawn. But anyways, guys, I can't find any other new items coming out. Anyways, don't forget to check in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have a new video. Andy is by himself in that video doing something very cheesy, I guess. And then the following Saturday, we'll have 2 live streams next week because it'll be the Friday live stream that I do every Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Saturday, we'll have a taste test. And I think I might, to try to boost subscriptions, might do a challenge. Not that day, but I might do like a 24-hour challenge or something. I'll think about it, what I possibly can do, because I'd like to boost engagement and subscriptions. And watch time hours for sure, because we need it bad. I might do some like 24-hour challenge of some sort. Like maybe eat a bite of a taco every time there's a subscriber or someone subscribes to the channel for 24 hours straight, could I do that? Like, just, I couldn't do a whole taco for every subscription. I might, depending on how many people start subscribing. If there's not many, then I could do one full taco. But if it got to where it's like a bunch of people subscribing back to back, then I would have to go like a bite of a taco every single time. For 24 hours, do you think I'd have to probably narrow it down. I might do something similar to that. Would that be something that you find interesting to watch, and me just gobbling down tacos for subscriptions? Because if that's the case, I might be willing to do it. I love me some tacos, so might have to try it. Anyway, guys, don't forget to tune in tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll have a new video for you tomorrow morning. And I'll be back with you again tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Friday, next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another live stream. May do something interesting. I don't know. We'll see. I got to think about that, that live stream where I'll do like a challenge or whatever. And then, yeah, we'll catch you on the Saturday one for a taste test also. Love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in, watching, and hanging out with me today. I will catch you that next time. And until then,